A triple flux
figure skater
capacitor.
video from like NBA from the.
Oh well.
Is this a regulation ball? Can you tell?
It looks deflated.
Well, yeah, it's deflated like my career. But like it's but like can you tell by the texture? Is it like a thinner ball? Is there a difference in the ball?
It seems like it. For the NFL ones, no, they're all. They have kicking balls that are a little bit more broken in. Other than that, no, the other ones.
They don't put them in the dryers anymore, right?
No, they have like certain towels, and they do. So I see like the equipment staff sometimes they're doing something to it, like kind of getting the.
Do you think Brady
off of them?
Do you think Brady deflated this one? This one's pretty soft.
I will.
There will be no Tom Brady slander.
I will.
Just say slander.
I don't know what I can give you to just punch him in the face. Do you need anything to punch him in the face?
If you'd poked me in the eye earlier, then I might have.
We scratched cornea, then we'll go. It's like 3 rounds with a scratch cornea, we'll go.
I'm a little sensitive to eye injuries. I don't know if you know, but I thought you did. My son was hit in the eye with a rock.
We talked about this.
Went through the eyelid.
By the rock?
Okay, by a rock.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you heard it by the rock. I'm like, that must have hurt.
See what I got to
I mean,
24 stitches in his eyeball.
Yeah.
And to the best of our knowledge, all it did was hit his eyelid. It didn't hit his eye.
Yeah.
And that was the damage.
That's really serious. Like that's bad. If you don't, I have stitches over my left eye, I believe, and I was playing. We had burglar bar windows when I was in Nigeria, on the inside as well as the outside. I'm playing, jumping on some couches. I get hit. I hit into it, and there's a gap. I thought I was gonna be blind. I was about 8 years old. Like I couldn't see for days, just blood rushing through, and I turned out to be fine. So I definitely understand, but. That's not what happened to that guy in that fight.
But look, I was at Busch Gardens last week.
Here comes another stupid
and off
story.
of a roller coaster, some people have been injured. Their retina has detached from the jarring in the drastic roller coaster, like the G forces. So like you don't know what his injury was. It could have been a retina, it could have been a cornea. Either one of those are the pain associated with it has got to be crippling. Just the pain. To even get a rock in your eye or something you can't see, you try to wash it out.
I almost feel like
a championship level fight where someone's punching you and you can't see.
I almost feel like you guys didn't watch. He didn't even come forward and poke this guy in the eye. His hands and his fingers were up, spread open, like they were up. They weren't out. They weren't like this. Like it was straight up and down. And he literally just backed up like this, and he was like, "Oh, I can't." And he's blinking a bunch of times, and then after the fight, he's walking around with one eye down. Like, come on, what are we doing?
Do you think Aljamain Sterling
doing?
Do you think he flopped when he got the knee from Peter Yan? Like, do you think he got the belt because of the disqualification?
No, that was an illegal up and down, and he was disqualified.
Now, speaking of illegal,
this was a no contest because he couldn't continue.
Which, to be honest, I felt it should have been a DQ.
Yeah, absolutely not.
All right, so
not even up in arms.
Hold on a second. So my question is, are you saying that he didn't injure his eye, or he didn't injure his eye then?
I'm saying he didn't injure his eye then. If he injured his eye, if it was that bad, it was from a punch, and the referee understood and the doctors understood that, hey, that poke didn't do that damage to him not to fight. That's why they say no contest, not a DQ. Because if he stabbed him in his eye bad enough for it to matter, I think the judges would see that and be like, hey, he can continue.
Well, first of all, it's not up to the judges.
Not the judges, the doctor.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Well, the referee or the doctor.
Referee and doctor.
Right.
They were there.
I just got put on. Okay. I was talking to an expert about the injury, that's all.
Okay.
And then he put me on. Go away.
Oh, do not disturb?
Yeah, pretty much.
Going back to a downed opponent in this week's episode of The Ultimate Fighter, you could hear in the background of them saying downed opponent, but they were still taking knee shots, still taking body shots. So when your hands are down, what does that mean, Randy? You can still throw body shots, but just not head shots?
Exactly.
But based on the jurisdiction, in what rules you're playing or what state you're commissioned by, one hand, two hands, one knee.
To the head.
To that, but the whole body is available anytime, no matter what body parts are down.
Thanks for tuning in to Knockout Radio. How long have you been on this show?
No, too long.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. And I still don't like that in one state and this state's rules. They need to be the same rules everywhere.
Right.
You're using basically the same pool of judges
And the same fighters. They just
and the
travel
same
to different
pool
promotions.
of referees and the same pool of fighters.
So how do we start that commission? Can we start like a? Let's start our own.
The big dummy promotion.
I'm down with it.
Another takeaway I had from the fight. Did you catch the Ian Garry and Gabe Green fight?
I did catch it.
Yeah. Ian Garry looked great.
He looked fantastic.
Phenomenal. Like,
And-
I'm really impressed with him.
And I never root. Well, I very rarely root. I don't want to say never. I very rarely. Gabe has now been on the show a couple times. A really good guy.
Yeah.
You know, I
Great-
wanted him to
great
win.
interview.
I don't know Ian Garry from the ladies swimming in the pool.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
And he's from Sanford MMA, which is now called Killcliff FC.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, and you and I have talked about Sanford. You know, they
Yeah.
don't get the recognition. And very few talk about it. And look at the killers. Usman was there, you know, until he moved out with Trevor. And now they're changing the name. I'm trying to get them some pub. And now they're going to change their name. But no, Ian Garry looked like the real
his,
deal.
His striking was so precise. Big guy for the division, I think. Great cardio. And, like, even when he got clipped, he stood in there like he was, you know, I liked him a lot. I think he did really, really well.
He talked about at the press conference how, you know, he wants to obviously be on a card in Dublin.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me if a McGregor-Garry card.
Yeah.
Not obviously fight each other.
Yeah.
But, you know, card. And I'll tell you this much. I'll go to that.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be awesome. That would tear the roof down. But, yeah, it was, okay, so we talked about last week the possible fight of the night. I don't know who won fight of the night. But you
I
talked.
don't remember. I'll look.
Yeah, but we talked about possibly being Robby Lawler versus Barberena.
Which was a good fight.
It was. So look. This is what the people like Matt would say is exciting and entertaining. They stood in front of each other and were like rock'em sock'em robots. That's literally what I wrote in my notes.
Aha!
They were just sitting there.
That's how you don't
punching
know it.
each other. Like you just said, you want just
Yeah,
violence
but I
and
don't
just
want.
punches
I don't
and
want a guy in
no
the end of his
defense.
career. That's his last fight, and he's right off in the sunset against an up and coming star, like an up and coming fighter that's got his youth behind him. I don't want to see GSP or I don't want to see Anderson Silva versus Izzy. I don't want to see Matt Hughes versus Griese.
Why not?
Because Hughes just dominated him and manhandled him and just threw him to the ground.
So-
like it's they should separate it by age and
I feel like-
there should be a line. You shouldn't have like the last guy's fight versus
I
a guy.
think it was the Lawler Barberena was fight of the night.
Okay, so Teixeira just fought Prochazka, and he is a super veteran. He's 42 years old. Prochazka's a young guy.
but they're only fighting for titles because Jones vacated and left and went away.
Teixeira won and defended.
Every time there's a light heavyweight fight, there's a new champion
Teixeira
because no one's
won. He
dominant.
won the title and defended it. Right? You know, this was his second defense, right?
I don't
Or
think.
no?
I think he
was
was
his
one.
first one.
I think it was
He was
first.
one.
His first
He was
one. Yeah, but I'm saying though, like he beats Jan Blachowicz, who was a good champion. He was champion for however many months, a year.
I get it.
He beats him, and he goes and defends it. And he's an older guy, so it can be
I
competitive.
just don't like. I didn't like the matchup. I don't like that. It's too far of a span between where they're at in their careers.
Yeah.
Like, put them closer together, then let them go. But I didn't. There was no. It would have been Don Cerrone versus Lawler. I'm okay with that. Like both
Why?
those
Just
guys.
because it's two veterans?
Well, you have veterans at the end of their career. Like let them go in. BJ Penn fighting out. I mean, like let them fight people in their same age range or group.
I
young
think those
killers.
young guys see it differently because for them, it's a chance for me. Obviously, I know I'm not fighting this guy in his prime, obviously, but it's like a passing of the torch.
Right.
You know,
Izzy
It's-
versus Silva.
yeah, Silva.
Like that, but nobody wanted to watch that fight, really? Did you?
I did. I enjoyed it.
Really?
I enjoyed
Izzy
it so
was
much.
standing there like
I enjoyed it.
doing Michael Jackson spins
I
and like
enjoyed-
dancing.
That's what Silva did for years.
I know, I
And
get
Izzy
it.
loved watching him, so he said it's like a kind of like an ode to you're my idol.
understand.
You're somebody I love.
It's like
so it's not
like an all-star game. It's like it should be
No.
for exhibition. It should be for sport and for fun.
No,
And
I
to get,
disagree.
say you shared the octagon with a legend and ride him off into the sunset. I think that's a great thing that the UFC could do. For just entertainment.
I vehemently
But I
disagree.
don't think the fighters want to do that.
No.
Robby Lawler does. Robby Lawler thought he could beat Barberena.
Yes. And honestly, he looked good in a lot of
And
those
he was
until-
winning.
He was winning it until he got caught.
Until he got tired.
Yeah. So it's like I don't see that at all. And then Cerrone, I thought he was doing good in that fight, right? And I thought he landed that nice head kick. He just ended up slipping, gets caught, and and that's the fight game though. I just don't think.
I'm glad that he chose to retire,
Yeah.
and not because he hasn't been there the last couple fights.
Yeah.
And he said that about the McGregor fight,
Right.
that he really didn't want to go out there. And Dana's talked about that he does it for the money and only the money because he needs the money. And I almost thought that he would have stayed to get to 50, just to get to 50.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that he didn't, and that he's going to go do other things.
Yeah, he's in movies now. He's got the ranch. He's doing the lions not sheep movement, with Sean Whalen and those guys. He's got options. He's a legend.
I'm happy for him. Yeah,
And
that was awesome.
there was another retirement as well.
Who?
Brain cramp, the female that retired, Jessica.
Oh, Jessica Ai, yeah.
And she, which I honestly believe I broke, only meaning I saw her taking the tape off first.
Right.
And as I saw her doing it, I just kind of had that, and as soon as it hit the ground, I tweeted it. Jessica Ai, a phenomenal person. Another person that didn't necessarily retire, but did you catch this? Lil Bulldog
No. Felice Herring
signed with
So,
BKFC.
yeah.
I did see that.
Yeah, she did.
I did see that.
She signed with Kevin Smith, Smith Brother Combat Sports.
I didn't know who she signed with. I know Kevin put a post up,
Yeah.
so I didn't know if that was the
I think she signed with Kevin. So
But big stuff. I'm happy for.
yeah, it's gonna be the Lil Bulldog.
So I've been doing my little rabbit hole dives into all the MMA.
Can you save it?
I can save it.
All right, save it. Let's hit this break so we can get it in, and then we'll come back straight to Caleb with what's on his mind. Moments with Caleb when we return. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Man Strong and Staff Zone. We'll be right back.